Welcome back, everybody. It's time for another deep dive, and this time we're taking a closer look at a match that had a lot of people talking. MI women versus Gujarat Giants women.
Yeah.
We're going to be going beyond just the highlights. We're going to be pulling in some pregame analysis, some live commentary, and even some postgame reactions
Yeah.
to really try to understand what this match means for both of these teams as we head into the playoffs.
Right. And you know what's so fascinating about this match is that both of these teams had already secured their playoff spots.
Right.
But you could tell every run, every wicket just had this extra weight to it,
Yeah.
especially for the Gujarat Giants.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not even just about winning or losing for them.
Right.
They needed to win by a significant margin, either 17 runs or chase the target in 18 overs.
Right.
So they could improve their NRR and overtake Delhi Capitals in the standings.
Yeah, it's all about positioning for those playoffs.
Exactly.
NRR is a huge factor in tournaments like this because it really measures a team's scoring efficiency.
Yeah.
And so a higher NRR can sometimes be the difference between you finishing higher in the table and
Exactly.
having a better chance at the title.
So going into the match, everybody was kind of expecting a high-scoring game,
Right.
especially given the conditions at Brabourne Stadium. It's known to be pretty batter-friendly.
Yeah, very batter-friendly.
But there was this interesting question mark surrounding MI women's power play performance.
Yes.
They had been very consistent throughout the season, but some people were saying maybe a little too conservative.
Right. Yeah, they weren't really maximizing those early overs.
Exactly. So would they stick to this kind of measured approach?
Yeah.
Or would they really try to unleash in this crucial match?
Yeah, and then, of course, the toss happens, and Gujarat decides to field first, which seemed like a pretty smart move.
Yeah. Do you think they were already factoring in the dew that was expected to come later in the evening?
Oh, I think so, because, that dew-covered outfield
Mm-hmm.
makes the ball skid on a little bit faster.
Right.
It can be really hard for bowlers to grip the ball and control their deliveries.
Yeah.
And, especially for Gujarat, they needed to chase quickly to boost that NRR.
Right, exactly. Strategic thinking right from the toss. And then we had some interesting decisions in terms of the team composition.
Yeah.
Gujarat made one change to their lineup, while MI women, they decided to stick with that winning combination.
Right.
But then they kind of threw a curveball by promoting Amelia Kerr in the batting order.
Yeah, that was a pretty bold move, especially since Kerr has been struggling a little bit with the bat.
Right.
So some people were wondering if this was a way to just give her some confidence, or were they trying to really disrupt Gujarat's bowling plans?
Yeah, it definitely added another layer of intrigue.
Yeah.
So first innings begins MI women batting, and right away we see Kerr's struggles continue as this kind of risky single attempt leads to an early run out.
Yeah, there was a little bit of miscommunication there, which just goes to show you, even the best teams can make those little mistakes under pressure.
Absolutely. But then Haley Matthews comes out swinging. She smashes a couple of sixes
Yeah, she was on fire.
before she departs, but she still gets a quick 27.
Yeah.
And it really injects some energy into that innings.
It's amazing how a few quick runs can completely shift the momentum.
Absolutely. And then the partnership that really seemed to lay the foundation for the MI women's innings
Yeah.
was between Nat Cypher-Brunt and Harmanpreet Kaur.
Yes.
Very steady 50-run partnership, really showcasing their experience.
Yeah, and I think Cyber Brent really seems to perform well at Brabourne Stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, her recent scores there have been fantastic.
Right.
MI Women has to be really happy to have a player who feels so comfortable in these conditions.
Absolutely. And then there's Harmanpreet Kaur. She just loves playing against Gujarat.
Oh, she owns them.
This was her fourth 50 against them in the WPL. I mean, talk about a psychological edge.
Yeah.
She's got their number, and we can't overlook Manjot Kaur's cameo.
Oh, yeah, she had some real impactful moments there.
Yeah, those crucial boundaries and a 6 in the middle overs really upped the tempo.
Right when they needed it.
Exactly when they needed it most.
Yeah, and it just goes to show that even though her contribution might seem small in the big picture,
Right.
it's those quick runs that can be such game changers.
Absolutely. Everybody has a role to play,
Yeah.
even if it's just for a short amount of time.
You got to maximize those contributions.
Exactly. It's like a chess match.
Yeah.
Every move is calculated to try to put that pressure on the opponent.
Right.
And then Yastika Padia comes in for the final overs, trying to add some fireworks,
Yes.
gets a 6 of 4, and then unfortunately a run out brings the innings to a close.
Ah, bummer.
But MI women, they end up with 179 for 6.
Yeah, a pretty respectable total.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a flawless batting performance,
Right.
but they definitely did enough to set Gujarat a challenging target.
Yeah, for sure. Now the question is, how will Gujarat respond?
Well, their chase actually began with a bit of a surprise.
Oh, really? What happened?
They sent Kashfi Gautam out to open the batting alongside Beth Mooney.
Interesting
Yeah, it
choice.
was a curious decision,
Yeah.
considering Gautam's primary role is as a bowler.
Right. So do you think it was a strategic move to maybe try to disrupt MI Women's bowling plans?
Yeah, possibly.
Or were they just trying to give Gautam some more batting experience?
Yeah, maybe they were hoping to capitalize on those fielding restrictions in the power play.
Yeah.
Give her a little bit more freedom to swing freely. But it didn't really work out the way they planned.
Right.
Both openers ended up being dismissed pretty early,
Yeah.
which put a ton of pressure on Gujarat.
Right. And then we had Harleen Diol, who hit a few boundaries early on,
Yeah.
but she was given out LBW.
In a pretty controversial decision.
Yeah, it seemed like even the commentators were divided on that one.
Yeah, those close calls can be real game changers.
For sure.
But it felt like even beyond that, Gujarat's middle order, which had some really big hitters,
Right.
just couldn't find their rhythm.
Yeah.
Big names like Ash Gardner, who unfortunately suffered her 4th duck of the season,
Oh, wow.
and Deandra Dotton, they just couldn't make any significant contributions.
It's almost like the pressure of that run chase. Yeah.
And those early wickets really got to them.
Yeah. And then you had Litchfield, who tried some innovative strokes,
Oh.
but ultimately couldn't really build a substantial innings.
Yeah, at that point, it really felt like the match was slipping away from Gujarat.
It did. It really did. But then, just when all hope seemed lost,
Yeah.
came the Party Famali show.
Oh, yeah, she completely changed the game.
Talk about a game changer.
Yeah, coming in at number 7 and just explodes onto the scene
Yeah.
with a record-breaking 25 balls, 61,
She was on fire.
hitting boundaries like it was nothing.
Yeah. The MI women bowlers just seemed helpless against her.
Yeah, and not only did she single-handedly bring Gujarat back into the match,
Yeah.
but she also etched her name in the WPL record books.
Yeah. She became only the second batter to score a 50 from number 7 or lower.
Wow.
I mean, it was really remarkable.
Yeah.
Especially in a match where most batters were struggling to score freely.
Right.
She just made it look effortless.
And even after Gujarat lost 4 wickets for 54 runs in the 9th over,
Famali's innings still gave them a glimmer of hope.
it really highlights the unpredictable nature of T20 cricket, doesn't it?
Yeah.
One player coming in lower down the order can completely change the complexion of the match.
For sure. And it also speaks to the depth and the potential within this Gujarat team.
Yeah.
Even though they ultimately fell short by 9 runs,
Yeah.
Famali's innings made those final overs absolutely thrilling.
Oh, it's edge of your seat stuff.
Yeah. It's a reminder that you can never count a team out.
Never, especially in this format.
Especially in this format. So now that we've kind of talked about that exciting finish,
Yeah.
I think it's time to dive into some of the individual performances.
Yeah.
And the stats that really stood out from this match.
Yeah. What really stood out to you?
Well, I mean, we've already talked about Harmanpreet Kaur's dominance against Gujarat.
She's a beast.
But when you look at the numbers, it's actually pretty crazy.
Yeah.
She's amassed 315 runs against them in the WPL at an average of 78.75.
Wow.
And her strike rate, a ferocious 171.2.
She's a thorn in their side.
Yeah, she's got to be giving them nightmares at this point.
Yeah.
And it really makes you wonder if Gujarat needs to come up with a specific game plan
Yeah.
just to try to contain her.
Yeah, they need to figure something out.
Because if they can't stop her, their chances of beating MI women are pretty slim.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But while we're talking about individual brilliance,
Yeah.
let's not forget about Nat Cyberbrun's performance at Braeburn Stadium.
Yeah, she seems to really thrive in those conditions.
I think this was her 5th consecutive score of 35 or more at that venue.
Yeah, I think you're right. And her WPL scores at Braeburn are amazing.
Oh, they're ridiculous.
Yeah.
55 not out, 45 not out, 36-60 not out, and in this match, a solid 38.
Yeah.
That's an average of 117.
Wow. So you have to wonder if MI Women has like a strategic advantage when it comes to scheduling.
Oh, for sure.
If they can secure home games at Braeburn.
Right.
Knowing they have a player who consistently performs well there, that could be huge.
Yeah, it's definitely something for the other teams to think about. They need to find a way to counter Cyberbrun's dominance
Yeah. If they want to have a chance.
at that venue.
Exactly. But let's kind of shift gears a little bit.
Yep.
And talk about something that wasn't so positive.
Okay.
Gujarat's struggles in the power play.
Yeah, those early dismissals really hurt them.
Yeah. Is this a recurring issue for them?
It has been a theme throughout the season.
Oh, really?
They haven't had a single 50-plus score in the power play in any of their matches.
Wow.
It's a pretty significant weakness.
Yeah.
that they'll need to address if they want to go deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, but here's the thing that's kind of interesting.
What's that?
Their bowling in the power play has actually been really good.
It has.
They've taken the most wickets
Yeah.
and conceded the fewest runs per over.
Yeah, it's a real paradox.
Yeah, they're stifling opponents
Right.
while also struggling to capitalize themselves.
Exactly.
So do you think this approach is sustainable in the long run?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's worked for them so far, but you have to wonder as the competition gets tougher in those playoffs,
Right.
if they need to be a little bit more consistent across both disciplines,
Yeah.
maybe they need to be a little bit more aggressive with the bat early on,
Yeah.
even if it means taking a few more risks.
It's finding that balance
Yeah.
between being aggressive but
Yeah.
not being reckless.
Exactly.
Speaking of calculated approaches,
Yeah.
let's take a look at MI Women's power play stats.
Yeah. They've been pretty interesting.
They've lost the fewest wickets
Right?
and scored at the second lowest run rate in the power play this season.
It's a real contrast to Gujarat's approach.
Yeah, so it seems like MI Women is prioritizing a steady start.
Yeah. Building a solid platform.
Right, building that platform for their middle order to kind of launch later on.
Exactly. And it's worked for them.
Yeah.
But again, it does raise the question,
Yeah,
could it backfire against more aggressive teams?
especially in the playoffs.
Right. What happens if their middle order doesn't fire? Could this cautious approach actually limit their scoring potential?
It's like they're playing chess, thinking several moves ahead.
Right.
But sometimes in T20 cricket, you got to be willing to sacrifice a pawn or two.
To gain that strategic advantage.
Exactly. I love that analogy. So now let's talk about something that always adds a little bit of extra spice to these matches.
Okay, what's that?
The individual duels.
Ah, yes. The mini battles within the larger war.
Yeah. Always so fun to watch.
Absolutely.
And one matchup that I was really paying attention to was Deandra Doughton versus Amelia Kerr.
Oh, two powerhouse players.
Yeah.
Each one capable of single-handedly turning the tide of a match.
Absolutely. And if you look at their head-to-head record, it seems like Kerr has had the upper hand.
She has.
Yeah.
In their 6 T20 encounters, Doughton's only managed 41 runs off 33 balls against Kerr.
Oh, wow.
And to make matters worse, she's been dismissed by Kerr 3 times.
So is it safe to say that Kerr has kind of figured out Doughton's weakness?
I mean, it seems that way.
Yeah.
And it really speaks to Kerr's tactical awareness.
Right.
And her ability to really adapt her game plan to specific batters.
It'll be interesting to see how this duel kind of plays out in future matches.
Oh, absolutely. Now, another duel that I always find exciting is Beth Mooney versus Nat Cyberbrund.
Yeah.
Two incredibly talented batters.
Yeah. So elegant.
Yeah.
So technically gifted.
Yeah, their T20 history goes way back.
Right.
Over 23 innings, Mooney has scored 114 runs off 112 balls against Cyberbrund,
Okay.
but with 5 dismissals, so it's a bit more balanced.
Okay.
But Cyberbrund does have that edge in terms of getting Mooney out.
So even though Mooney has found ways to score against her,
Yeah.
Cyberbrunt seems to have this knack for breaking through her defenses at those crucial moments.
Right, like there's this psychological element at play there.
Yeah, it's like, is it a mental thing, or does Cyberbrunt's presence just add this extra bit of pressure?
Yeah, it's hard to say for sure, but it's definitely fascinating to watch.
Yeah, I think it just adds another layer of complexity and
Yeah.
excitement to these games.
Great.
You know, it's not just about which team wins. It's
Mhm.
about these personal duels that are
Mhm.
happening within the larger contest.
Exactly, and it reminds us that even though cricket is a team sport,
Yeah.
it often comes down to those individual moments of brilliance.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we move on to the post-match reactions
Okay.
and the playoff implications,
Yeah.
I think there's one more thing that we should take a closer look at.
Okay, all ears?
The contrasting captaincy styles
Oh, yes.
of Harmanpreet Kaur and Ash Gardner.
Two very different approaches to leadership.
So tell me more.
Well, you have Carr, who leads by example.
Yeah.
Very calm and composed presence on the field.
Yeah.
But also fiercely competitive.
Right.
And she really inspires her team with her performances
Yeah.
and her belief in their ability.
Yeah, she's like the anchor,
Yeah.
the steady hand guiding the ship.
Exactly. And then you have Gardner, who's much more energetic
Yeah.
and vocal,
Yeah.
constantly motivating her teammates,
Yeah.
urging them to push harder.
Right. It's like she's the engine, the
Yeah.
driving force
That's a great way to put it.
behind the team's energy
Yeah.
and their spirit.
And I think both styles have their merits.
Absolutely.
It's not a which one is better.
Right.
It's about which one is more effective.
For the team
for a particular team
and the
in a
situations.
particular situation.
Exactly. And in this match, we saw how both captains navigated those twists and turns, the
Yeah.
highs and lows,
Yeah,
with their own unique approaches.
absolutely. But in the end, it was Kahur's MI women who came out on top.
But victory doesn't always tell the whole story, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Sometimes it's those post-match reactions,
Yeah.
the insights from the players,
Right, yeah.
and the coaches
Yeah.
that really give us a deeper understanding of the game
Yeah,
and what it means
absolutely.
in the larger context of the tournament.
Right.
So should we dive into those?
Let's hear what they had to say.
So let's get into those post-match reactions. What stood out to you?
You know what's interesting is there was this real contrast in tone between the two teams.
Okay.
You know, MI women, they won the match, but they were very subdued in their celebrations.
Interesting.
You know, even Harmanpreet Kaur, in her player of the match speech, she was really focused on areas for improvement.
Oh, wow.
You know, she talked about the need to really learn from their bowling mistakes.
So it's almost like they know they haven't reached their full potential yet.
Right.
They're winning, but they're still hungry.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just Kaur.
Right.
Amelia Kerr, even though she had a good game, she was pretty honest about her struggles
Yeah.
throughout the tournament with the bat.
Yeah.
And, you know, it makes you wonder
Yeah.
if maybe they're holding back a little bit strategically,
Right.
you know, saving their best for the playoffs.
Like they're concealing their secret weapon?
Yeah, exactly.
Well-
But then on the other side with Gujarat.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a mix of disappointment,
Of course.
but also this glimmer of optimism. Ash Gardner. She acknowledged the missed opportunities.
Yeah.
But she also emphasized the positives.
Yeah.
You know, Fulmali's knocked the team's fighting spirit.
It's almost like they're saying, hey, we almost pulled off a miracle.
Right.
Imagine what we can do when everything clicks.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a dangerous thought for their opponents.
Yeah, for sure.
Because this Gujarat team, they were at the bottom of the table not that long ago.
Right.
And they fought their way back.
Yeah.
With this resilience.
Yeah.
This never say die attitude. And, you know, that can be a huge weapon in the playoffs.
Yeah, and let's not forget, this Gujarat team had already secured a playoff spot.
Right.
So maybe they eased off the gas pedal a little bit subconsciously,
Yeah.
knowing they had another chance.
Yeah. But, you know, in the playoffs, it's do or die
Right.
every match. And we might see a completely different Gujarat team.
When the pressure's on.
Yeah, when the pressure's really on.
So what does this all mean? We've got MI women who are dominant. They're striving for perfection.
And then we've got this unpredictable Gujarat team capable of brilliance,
Yeah.
but also those blunders. So who's better positioned for the playoffs?
I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? And that's the beauty of sport.
Yeah.
We don't know until the games are played.
Right.
But I'll say this.
Yeah.
Watch out for Gujarat's power play bowling.
Okay.
If they can stifle opponents early on,
Yeah.
they have the batting firepower to chase down almost any target.
And for MI women,
Yeah.
keep an eye on Harmanpreet Kaur,
Oh, she's a match winner.
especially against Gujarat.
Yeah, if she gets going, MI women are tough to beat.
So we've unpacked the pregame hype.
Yeah.
We've relived those key moments.
Yeah.
We crunched the numbers.
We did.
And we even try to get inside the minds of
Yeah.
these players.
Yeah.
Hopefully you've learned a thing or two.
Yeah. And gained a new appreciation
Yeah.
for this incredible sport.
Until next time, keep exploring
Keep questioning.
and keep diving deep.